3.21. Yadyadacharati shreshtastattaddevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastaddanu. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. People in general always require a leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. So this is what Prabhupada wants us to become. Leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. And of course, what we read in the books, we should live accordingly. Not that something is written in the book and we are doing something else. A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he himself smokes. Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called Acharya. Okay, somebody needs to mute themselves. One who teaches in that way is called Acharya, or the ideal teacher. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principles of Shastra to teach the common man. The teacher cannot manufacture rules against the principles of revealed scriptures. The revealed scriptures like Manu Samhita and similar others are considered the standard books to be followed by human society. Thus, the leader's teaching based on the principles of such standard Shastras. One who desires to improve himself must follow the standard rules as they are practiced by the great teachers. That is why Srila Narottam Das Thakur said, Guru Sadhu Shastra. So whatever sadhus have done will be according to Shastra, and that also should be confirmed by the Guru. Guru should also conform to that. Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees, and that is the way of progress on the path of spiritual realization. The king or the executive head of a state, the father, and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes. So at least most of us will be playing this role, father, mother. We have great responsibility to our dependents. Therefore, we must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes. Of course, then one might ask, you've not read Manu Samhita and others, etc. What should we do? Yes, ideally, somebody should read, and in Parampara, this knowledge should be available. But even if not, by just reading and strictly abiding by Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, we will possibly we will live a devotee's life. Now, standard books of moral and spiritual codes are required for people in general who are not on the path of bhakti, because what is right, what 3.22. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. O son of Pratha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything. Yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. No need, no want. Still Krishna is engaged in prescribed duties. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in the Vedic literatures as follows. Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram Tam Devatanam Paramam Cha Daivatam Patim Patinam Paramam Parastad Vidamadevam Bhuvane Shamityam न तस्य कार्यं करणं च विद्यते न तत्समश्चाभ्यधिकश्च दृश्यते परास्य शक्तिर्विविधैव श्रूयते स्वाभाविकी ज्ञानबलक्रिया च. The Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controllers and is the greatest of all the diverse planetary leaders. Everyone is under his control. All entities are delegated with particular power only by the Supreme Lord. They are not supreme themselves. He is also worshipable by all demigods and is the supreme director of all directors. Therefore, he is transcendental to all kinds of material leaders and controllers and is worshipable by all. There is no one greater than him, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. He does not possess a bodily form like that of ordinary living entity. There is no difference between his body and his soul. He is absolute. All his senses are transcendental. Any one of his senses can perform the action of any other senses. Therefore, no one is greater than him or equal to him. His potencies are multifarious, and thus his deeds are automatically performed as a natural sequence. So deeds are automatically performed as a natural sequence means like just by his gnana bala kriyacha, swabhaviki gnana bala kriyacha. Parasya Shakti Vividaya Shrute. So his everything, his potencies take care of everything. So if he just wants something to be done, his Icha Shakti just gets it done. Right? Like, and it happens as though it is just he's doing it. As in, it is being done by his potency. And it appears natural. It's not like some magic happens. It's a natural sequence. It's not unnatural. It's not performed unnaturally. Since everything is in full opulence in the personality of Godhead and is existing in full truth, there is no duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to perform. One must receive the results of work. One who must receive the results of work has some designated duties, which means that somebody who wants some results, he has to do some duty. But one who has nothing to achieve within the three planetary systems certainly has no duty. And yet Lord Krishna is engaged on the battlefield of Kurukshetra as the leader of the Kshatriyas. Because the Kshatriyas are duty bound to give protection to the distressed. Although he is above all the regulations of the revealed scriptures, he does not do anything that violates the revealed scriptures. So whatever Krishna does not violate revealed scriptures. So one might argue saying that how is that Krishna is dancing with wives, others' wives, isn't that violation of the revealed scriptures? How to answer such questions? We have to enter into these confidential pastimes as directed by our acharyas, and they have clarified. Our acharyas have clarified that it is not immoral. Because actually the gopis are just like a child plays with his reflection. Because Srimati Radharani is non-different from Krishna because she has come from Krishna's body. When the Lord wanted to enjoy, she came out of the left side of his transcendental body. And gopis are have also come from Srimati Radharani. So they're non-different. So in some sense, in one sense, it is said like it is like a person just playing with his own reflection. However, when we look at it from a moral, worldly view, we will not be able to understand all this. Of course, then Acharyas also reveal saying that the gopis have material and spiritual body. And the spiritual body is what is engaging in Krishna's service. So the material body is that way not coming in service, not doing service to the Lord. So there are various explanations which have been given to make us understand, saying that it is actually there is no violation. It's just that it's the private life of the Lord, and we can't understand with our limited senses, with our materially contaminated mind, intelligence. We can't understand these things because we look at all of this from our viewpoint, which is fully contaminated. But we should understand that the Lord does not do anything that violates revealed scriptures, and it will just take us time for us to kind of understand, get explanation, clarification for everything that Krishna does to be clear in terms of how it is how it is not violating. So that will take some time. But important thing is that the Lord is engaged in prescribed duty. So he is telling Arjuna also, you should engage in your prescribed duty. 3.23. Girish.
One question.
Yeah.
It is written that those who have to receive the results of their actions, they need to perform duty. And so what is the understanding there? Like,
no, somebody who wants results from his work, somebody who is expecting something to happen, right? Like we want to earn money, so we work, right? So we have a need of the result. The result of our work is money, and since we have need for money, we are working. But there, Krishna has nothing to gain. Still, he is engaged in prescribed duty.
okay.
Krishna?
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Here about Lord, he does not possess a bodily form, and his body and there is no difference between his body and his soul. When there is no difference, why to use these many words, body, soul, when it comes to Supreme Lord?
Yeah.
This sounds like Advaita philosophy. Like there is nothing. No. There is.
No, it's not Advaita, because the Lord has form, because he has hands, eyes, legs, etc. Just because it is spiritual, he's spiritual, it doesn't mean that he's like a, for lack of better word, like lump of spiritual substance. It's like not like he's just one lump, right? So he has feelings, he has heart, he has mind, he has eyes, ears, legs, everything. So he has soul. But there's no difference between his soul and his body. The quality is not different, as in it is all made of spirituality. It is all transcendental. So it's not like it's not there. There is just being described, saying that there is no, qualitatively it is all spiritual. It's not like, unlike us, we have material body, spiritual, soul is spiritual. There's no such difference in Krishna.
Okay, our understanding is that soul is something very minute in size, and it's
correct.
It's inside the heart, right? So is that the case with the Lord also? Except that everything is spiritual.
Yes. See, there is nothing.
Do we have material body?
Yeah, and when we become perfect, we achieve a similar spiritual body as the Lord. The only difference
So there is
between
no difference.
material, the only difference is that there's no Paramatma in the spiritual world. That's all. Everything else is
Okay.
similar.
So the difference is that we have material bodies. In spiritual world, there are no material world. It's body, heart, everything is there, but everything is spiritual.
Yes. So
Okay,
we
that
not
helps.
understand whether it has the same structure, does it function similarly? No, but it is said like there is mind, there is soul, there is heart, there is hands, there are legs, there is everything. Now, how it is formed, what is its composition, those descriptions are not there. It is just said that it is all spiritual. See, like fundamentally, if you look at the body, primarily the body is material, which is just bones and flesh and whatever, right? Now, just that they function in different ways, right? And materially, this knowledge is available, saying, okay, heart is, though it is made up of muscles, etc., etc., it works in this way, and this is its function. Now, to that extent of details, we don't have. We might have, but in the scriptures that we are reading, we are not exposed to details about how this heart works, etc. But how the eye works, yes, it works similar in terms of function that it is seeing. But internally, how does it work? Is it connected to the brain through nerves? This is materially how it is made. Spiritually, it will be different, or it may be different. We don't know what it is, but it is there. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. 3.23. यदि ह्यं न वर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्या पार्थ सर्वशः. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties of Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. In order to keep the balance of social tranquility for progress in spiritual life, there are traditional family usages meant for every civilized man. Okay, to keep the balance of social tranquility for progress, there are traditional family usages. So there are traditional practices, right? And these traditional practices actually are intended to help one make progress in spiritual life. They might themselves not be fully spiritual, but they will enable someone to come on the spiritual path. Generally, the Varnashrama directions. Although such rules and regulations are for the conditioned souls and not for Lord Krishna, because he descended to establish the principles of religion, he followed the prescribed rules. Otherwise, common men would follow in his footsteps because he is the greatest authority. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that Lord Krishna was performing all the religious duties at home and out of home as required of a householder. This is just to teach us that we should also do it. Of course, then in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna then says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, which is the highest dharma, is to completely surrender to Krishna. We don't have to engage in karma kanda, but we engage in bhakti and the ways of bhakti. And that is the dharma that we want to follow. And we are giving up all other dharma on Krishna's order. (3.24) Utsideyurime loka nakuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam ima prajaha. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Varna Sankara is unwanted population. It disturbs the peace of the general society. In order to check this social disturbance, there are prescribed rules and regulations. In order to check this social disturbance, that means to avoid Varna Sankara, there are prescribed rules and regulations by which the population can automatically become peaceful and organized for spiritual progress in life, which is basically the Varnashrama system. When Lord Krishna descends, naturally he deals with such rules and regulations in order to maintain the prestige and necessity of such important performances. The Lord is the father of all living entities, and if the living entities are misguided, indirectly the responsibility goes to the Lord. Like in the pastime of Jaya Vijaya, the Lord takes responsibility for what Jaya Vijaya did to the Kumaras. So the responsibility goes to the Lord. Therefore, whenever there is general disregard of regulative principles, the Lord himself descends and corrects the society because he thinks it's his responsibility. We should, however, note carefully that although we have to follow in the footsteps of Lord, we still have to remember that we cannot imitate him. Following and imitating are not on the same level. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting Govardhana hill as the Lord did in his childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow his instructions, but we may not imitate him at any time. The Srimad Bhagavatam affirms, Naitat samachare chatu manasapi shanishvaraha vinashyatya acharan maudhyat yatha rudro dhijam visham ishvaranam vachas satyam tataivaacharitam kvachit tesham yat svavacho yuktam buddhimams tat samacharet. One should simply follow the instructions of the Lord and his empowered servants. Their instructions are all good for us, and any intelligent person will perform them as instructed. However, one should guard against trying to imitate their actions. One should not try to drink the ocean of poison in imitation of Lord Shiva. This is very important. Perform them as instructed, not creating some variations, deviations, speculations. I think we can do this. Why can't we do this? No, we don't use our intelligence there. We use our intelligence in trying to figure out how to apply the instructions as they are, not in making changes to the instructions. That is misuse of intelligence, duratma. We should always consider the position of the Ishwaras for those who can actually control the movements of the sun and moon as superior. Without such power, one cannot imitate the Ishwaras who are super powerful. Lord Shiva drank poison to the extent of falling in ocean. But if any common man tries to drink even a fragment of such poison, he will be killed. There are many pseudo devotees of Lord Shiva who want to indulge in smoking ganja and similar intoxicating drugs, forgetting that by so imitating the acts of Lord Shiva, they are calling death very near. Similarly, there are some pseudo devotees of Lord Krishna who prefer to imitate the Lord in his Rasa Leela or dance of love, forgetting their inability to lift Govardhana hill. It is best, therefore, that one not try to imitate the powerful, but simply follow their instructions. Nor should one try to occupy their posts without qualification. There are so many incarnations of God without the power of the Supreme Godhead. Krishna is speaking so many verses about how he acts responsibly. Convince Arjuna that he also has to act responsibly. 3.25. Sakta karman.
Prabhu, this talking about prescribed duties, how it will be decided for each and every one? It will be difficult, right? Because everyone, most of the people are capable of doing many things. How to decide which is their prescribed duty and continue in the same path without getting deviated into so many things?
Okay. So historically, it was all very clear because till Varna Sankara happened in human society, son of a cobbler is a cobbler. There is no question of him taking up another occupation. Son of a kshatriya is a kshatriya. Because they are pure in the sense that there is no mixture of varna. They are pure varna. Pure varna means they will have that nature in their blood. Kshatriya's son will have kshatriya spirit. There's no doubt. Unless some very exceptional situations. So previously it used to be very straightforward. Even in modern days, actually it is said that at the age of 14, the varna has to be decided. And there are ways to determine. So for example, for that one has to be in a Gurukul. Then when the teachers put the students through various activities, it's very easy to find out. So for example, some will be naturally a leader, someone will naturally be a leader. So you know that, okay, he has some Kshatriya qualities, Ishvara Bhav. He can be trained, maybe. Some are very sharp in, dealings, worldly dealings. They can manage talking to people, they can manage getting things done, they can think about goods and money and exchange and this and that and all that naturally, then they can be Vaishyas. Some who are very naturally Shastric oriented, learning Shastras, quoting, very, mode of goodness, you can make out from from how children behave. And of course, there are certain tests, right? Like how, and if one is one doesn't fit into any of these, then he is a Shudra. He will just assist. He will just assist. These are major. First of all, we should know whether which varna we belong to. Then we can go into find details of the varna, saying, okay, what kind of a Kshatriya or what kind of a Vaishya, etc., etc. Right? But at least one should know whether one is of Brahmanical type, Kshatriya type, Vaishya type, Shudra type. Generally, this evaluation is done at the age of 14. And the Gurukul teacher should, normally they know how to do this because they are day in and day out engaged with the children. The rest of it is a little bit of like, yeah, I mean, today, for example, like somebody has natural flair for music. They somehow pick up tunes, or they are, beating drums all the time on. I mean, one will know that, okay, somehow this person looks like he or she has some inclination towards music. Now, even in material life, we are able to identify some of these things. It's not like we can't. Just that sometimes, we are not open to it. We are forced, closed our minds in terms of what our children need to do, etc. But if you keep open mind and we observe, and of course, important thing is we also have to expose children to various things, right? Then we will know whether, okay, so let me expose my child to, say, chanting Bhagavad Gita mantras. Now, okay, is he interested? Is he able to by heart? Is he able to chant nicely? Okay, good. So will he be willing to do this on a day-to-day basis? Okay, good. So like this, right? We can observe our children and see what they seem to be good at, and accordingly figure out if they end up, if it is Shudra, like if it is not Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, then of course, then we have to see Shudra. There are various things they can do, but it requires very close understanding of children, evaluation, giving them, exposing them to various options, etc., etc. It's a very big topic. Most of the Gurukuls actually they have to build this kind of module to identify the varna of children, because then they can tell them, saying that, okay, so you do Krishi, you do crop protection, or you do farming, weaving, or you do carpentry. So they will know, because they will expose children to various things, and then they'll know, okay, what the children are good at, and whatever they are good at, they will be encouraged in that line. As simple as that. because guna karma, right? Like however they are behaving, accordingly they should be encouraged in that line, or allowed to do rather.
But Prabhu, you started saying that it's based on birth. But many times
It's
we
not.
say
It's
it
based on birth.
doesn't.
Yeah, no. See, that's why I said it is pure varna. So previously, pure varna used to exist. Today, because varnas are not pure, so we cannot base it on birth. I said previously varnas were pure till varna sankara happened. After varna sankara happened, it is all. And I said there are exceptions. Like for example, Ashwatthama was an exception. He was a Brahma Bandhu. Right. So there are always exceptions in Shastra. But after varna sankara, it is absolutely not on. See, when Krishna said it is guna karma, previously when pure varnas were there, guna and karma used to match completely. As in their birth, where they are born and the way they are behaving, everything would match because they are pure varna. But today, because we don't have pure varna, it is all varna sankara, we cannot just simply base it on birth. We have to base it on guna. Previously, even if you had based it on birth, it would have possibly been the same because they are pure varna. That's what I meant.
So if varnashrama has to be established, then if people will be given choice which varna I want to
Evaluation.
choose
They'll be
if he is
evaluated.
qualified.
No choice. This is not about natural selection. You see, people don't even know what choice will they make. I mean, today people are in jobs and they have job dissatisfaction. If they knew what kind of job they should be doing, nobody would have job dissatisfaction. So it means that people in general have no idea about what they are cut out to do. Whatever people occupations they take up is more based on how much money I'm going to get, right? So people cannot be given choice. Only, I mean, people who are in knowledge can be given choice, but most people are in ignorance, so they have to be evaluated. But
Yeah, that's not true. First,
yeah,
we give knowledge through Gurukula
uh,
education system, and then once they grow up a little, then we can, based on their propensities and this thing, they can choose, right?
no, naturally, if you want to do at the age of 14, you should have a way to evaluate the child when he or she is not she anyways three dharma. He is 14, right? If somebody wants to implement it for their children, then you have to know this and do it by the time the child is 14 years old. Now, if you're talking about grown-up people, then it is over discussion and understanding in terms of what their interests are. Okay, physical makeup, and by that time we'll know. Like somebody will know that okay, I'm not cut out for doing Kshatriya kind of job. I can't get stuff done from others. I can't deal with money, so I'm ruled out from Vaishya. If then I'm able to, if I can be absorbed in Shastra, then I can definitely become a Brahmana. If I cannot do either of these, then I'm simply a Shudra. It can be evaluated, but provided somebody is open-minded and not trying to force fit himself into some Varna, it can be done. But it's a deep science. As in, it's not like some small questionnaire that will answer. One has to understand deeply.
And what about ladies that the Sri Dharma you were saying? That means they are not supposed to do anything of these activities except taking care of kids and taking care of the home.
Taking care of the
Whichever
home. So
Varna they're
Sri Dharma
following.
means, for example, if they're born, if they're married to Brahmanas, then they should be able to do assist in Brahmana Dharma. So they also have to have an understanding of the Varna, because there are activities a woman has to do to support that. Yeah, but predominantly it is Sri Dharma. It is which is common to all. Which is there.
So, even if they're Brahmins, are they not supposed to take responsibility for preaching or debating all these things? They need to assist their husbands.
No, and train children. Train children.
Yeah, husbands and children.
Train girls, especially if they're at home. Big responsibility. Making the house Krishna conscious is a big responsibility. Just imagine changing one soul who's not a devotee to make him or her a devotee. How much of a challenge it is. That direct preaching challenge is there for others. And then, of course, I mean, like the opportunity to make their life perfect is very easily available because there is no asatsanga tyag. There's no need for asatsanga tyag because there's no asatsanga. They can be 24 hours Krishna conscious if they choose to. They can nicely, submissively serve. So many things are possible, which even if men want to do is very difficult. Like if I say, okay, I don't want a satsanga, how am I going to take care of the house? How am I going to run the house? So men have their own challenges, and women, apart from challenges of dealing with unsupportive husbands, which is a big problem in modern times, but generally very conducive for progressing in bhakti, except for their own the disadvantages that come from having a female body, right, which itself is kind of binding in ways. But if they can dedicate themselves to their responsibilities, then they can make tremendous progress. I mean, they can move faster. They can actually drive everybody at home to become devotees in a favorable, nice way. So I see this role as very, very powerful, very, very powerful. I don't know, somehow maybe many Mataris don't look at it that way. It's very powerful. Women can change the world if they want to. In that way, not in the way that modern society thinks, saying that I'm going to lead from front. Not that way. Actually, lead from behind with love, affection, care, understanding culture, understanding goal of life. So many things can be done. Anyway, okay. So I think we will.
Prabhu, I have one more question. Right. In that case, Prabhu, even within ISKCON, we are seeing a woman taking position as temple presidents, preachers, and now the controversy about Diksha Gurus, all this. Are these all against Shastra or time plus circumstance we need to?
We can't decide TPC. TPC is decided by Acharyas. Time place circumstance cannot be decided by anybody and everybody. It requires qualification. Once Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu gave a seminar on who is an Acharya, who can decide time, place, circumstance. So we cannot decide time, place, circumstance. Okay. So, and our Acharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, he came not very long ago, isn't it? Just about 50 years when he established this movement. So we can't say that suddenly we are in a different time, and so since it's a different time, then everything will have to be relooked at. No. He's given whatever he has given in his books, which will be applicable for the next 10,000 years, right? That's what it is told. So we don't have to change some of these. It's all because of, anyway, let me stop recording. Hare Krishna.